Welcome to the show. Congratulations on The Odyssey. It's the biggest movie in the world. Congratulations. The Odyssey you saw when you were 5 years old, I read somewhere, on stage?
I first encountered the story, I think it was about 4 or 5, and watching a play at school that the older kids were doing bits of the Odyssey. Like, I remember Odysseus being strapped to the mast for the sirens, and I remember, you know, they did some version of the horse. But I think, like a lot of people, it's just kind of in your bones. It's like you've experienced it in different adaptations and things when you were a kid.
Stuck in your brain, and you go, oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the greatest hits kind of thing.
Yeah. Did you realize, like, you wouldn't think, I want to be a director at 5, right? You'd know what that is.
No, I was about 7, I think. So.
Yeah, right. You waited a couple years.
Waited a couple years.
Yeah, smart.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you've made some of the biggest movies that we all love. You made Interstellar, Oppenheimer, Inception. The Odyssey is no different. It's a massive undertaking. This was a 91-day shoot across 6 countries. Mm-hmm. I've read everything about this. You've worked with thousands of actors on this movie.
Yeah, the proverbial cast of thousands, absolutely.
Yeah, it's the first film in history to be shot in IMAX, with IMAX cameras.
Yes. I first encountered IMAX when I was a kid. I was about 16, and I went to the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, saw a documentary shot on IMAX, and right then I was like, if you could ever do a feature film that way, this would be the format to do it on. And finally, I got around to doing it. We first used the cameras on The Dark Knight. So for the introduction to Heath Ledger's Joker, you know, the bank heist at the beginning, the truck flip, that kind of stuff, we shot those things on IMAX.
But was it the old IMAX, the loud IMAX camera?
Well, it was, exactly. You could shoot action with it and everything, but the cameras are incredibly loud because the film is huge and it's running through very fast. So it sounds kind of like a generator or a tractor or something.
So you can't do dialogue.
So you can't do dialogue, and we've never been able to do dialogue. On this film, I finally called IMAX, and I'm like, look, if ever there was a story that you were going to try and do every frame in IMAX, it would be The Odyssey. So can you find some way to help us, you know, record the dialogue? And what they did is they built this sort of high-tech box for us called a blimping system, and you put the camera in it, and it made it silent. So, you know, we could then do all the scenes on IMAX, including the dialogue scenes with the actors.
How much film did you use?
2 million feet of film. a lot of film, yeah.
Wow! Look at this. This right here, you directing the giant IMAX camera. Oh, my God. And then here's using the blimp technology, what they call it, but with they covered the case to make it quiet. Yeah. But it's so big, the camera, that actors can't see, if you're doing a close-up scene, you can't see across from you.
Yeah, you can't see the other actor past it because it's this giant box.
So you invented another invention.
So we invented a mirror system that the camera guys figured out how to use it.
You're like a crazy inventor now.
Well, my director of photography, Hoyte van Hoytema, he's a great artist, but he's also kind of an engineer. And so when you set him a challenge, and I said, well, what if we use 2 mirrors and do some kind of periscope thing? He and his guys found a way to do it.
This is kind of the mirror system, if you can see.
They're looking into it.
So you can act across from each other. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so the actors can make real eye contact and actually perform together.
Did you ever think to yourself, man, next movie I want to do an easy one? How about a Christopher Nolan rom-com?
I think doing a rom-com would be incredibly difficult. I love watching those movies, but no, I think comedy, like people who direct comedy, people who do comedy, I think that's one of the hardest things in the world, to make people laugh that way, and particularly the risk of taking. When you make a film, you know, if I show a film to people and maybe they don't respond to bits of it, I'm like, they don't get it, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
There's no hiding behind that when you do comedy. So
yeah, trust me.
I would be I would be terrified of doing anything like that.
But everything on this movie is shot practically. I mean, the ships are actual ships. Where did you get those ships?
Stavanger in Norway. We found a Viking ship that had been built exactly according to those ancient specifications. And it was very much the hull shape and the rig that we needed to do a Bronze Age ship.
And so, where are you when the ship is going? Are you on a different ship?
No, I'm on the ship with everybody, cast and crew, and our Odysseus's men, you know, his group of guys. They had to learn how to row it. They had to learn how to put the sail up. We took the crew. It's a crew of about 26 people needed for that vessel, and we put their crew all in our costumes. They became part of the movie crew, as it were. And Odysseus's guys, the actors, joined in with them, and they figured out how to raise the sail, how to rig it, how to row, all of this stuff. And they were on there for months.
Do you feel like you kind of went through an odyssey?
I think everybody involved with the film genuinely feels that way. You know, when I first talked to Matt Damon, who plays Odysseus, when I first, yep, he's incredible. And he was the key to it, really, because I said to him, look, it's going to be hard. And he said, yeah. And I said, no, really hard. And it was, but he valued being there, doing that. He saw every challenge as an opportunity. And so everybody else, you know, he's leading from the front, the rest of the cast and all of the crew. It reminded us all how lucky we are to do what we do and to be there doing it. And he's just a tremendous leader in that. Regard.
And just you have just the greatest reputation. Everyone who's come on the show says how much they love you and how great of a leader you are to everybody. And you just made everyone feel so comfortable. But you're so smart, and you are directing. But it's a massive thing. What you see in your eyesight, in your brain, is what we see on the screen, right? It's as big as you can think. I mean, there's a scene, I don't want to give too much away, but there's a scene where all these ghosts are rising out of the sand.
Yeah.
And Matt Damon told me that they were actual stunt actors buried.
Yeah.
With like snorkels.
Very carefully.
To breathe.
What other secrets did he give away?
Yeah, that's right. I don't want to spoil the ending. Yeah. The ship sinks at the end. No, I don't. I'm making it up. That's a different movie. But he said watching that, it was just something he never could imagine.
Yeah.
You would think visual effects would do that.
Yeah.
But you combine them, the Cyclops is a real actor.
Well, everything in that sequence, we used every trick in the book, a lot of different methods, from
frightening
puppetry, animatronics, CG, everything. But it's all guided by my good friend Bill Irwin.
Bill Irwin.
And Bill had puppeteered the robot TARS and provided the voice in Interstellar. So every time that robot moved, you know, he went all around the world, including, you know, waist deep in water in Iceland, moving this thing and creating a sense of personality. Because Bill is a great actor. He's also a clown. No, I mean an actual clown.
Yeah. And respect to all the clowns out there. Yeah. You're speaking to one. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But not as good as Bill Irwin. He's fantastic.
He's amazing. And I called him right away when I knew we were taking this on, because I knew that one of the things I learned from my good friend Guillermo del Toro is a monster is never just a monster. And if you can look at these creatures with some kind of individuality, if they can have a presence behind them, a personality, they're going to mean more in the film, whether it's threat or whether it's something you care about, you know, all of that. And so it needed to be guided by a performer. And so everything we did with Cyclops, and there's a lot of different ways we took it on, Bill is behind all of it, you know.
Oh, it's frightening. It's unbelievably scary. It's frightening, but also the sets aren't even sets. Were you in like a real cave?
We were in a real cave, and my production designer, Ruth de Jong, you know, when we were scouting, we found this giant cave, and she said to me, well, let's just film it here. And I was like, well, I've done a lot of cave movies, and we always build the cave. Like, we're going to wind up building the cave.
Batman, anyone?
Yeah. Exactly.
Hello. Yeah, I think I've seen a bat cave or two. Yeah. Hello.
And you know, eventually Ruth just convinced me. It's like, no, this really could work. We had an incredibly high ceiling, a hole in the top so we could rig down through it, and you know, bring all of our stuff in. And so every morning everyone would hike up the path that you see in the film. Like, that's the approach to it, you know, where they go up.
That's how you get to set.
That's how you get it. You get to set just like Odysseus got there and into the cave. And then, yeah, everything that happens in the cave really happened in the cave.
Yeah. The movie is set in Greek mythology, but there's also a lot of mythology about Christopher Nolan, and I thought it'd be kind of fun if I read a few things out there on the internet, and you can tell me if they're true or debunk them. Do you mind?
Depends.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you don't like it, we don't have to air it. But okay. But all right, I heard that there are no cell phones allowed on a Christopher Nolan set, and furthermore, Christopher Nolan doesn't own a smartphone or have an email address.
True.
How do you do this?
Shocking.
giant movie with no email or text.
I am surrounded by people helping me all the time. So it's like, it would actually be pretty hard for me to get away from the information that people are trying to give me. So,
Are you tempted to get a smartphone?
you know, I kind of like, I have a flip phone, like a dumb phone I use when I travel and stuff, and that's kind of great. I think I would be horribly addicted to it if I had it. I think I would lose those pockets of time that I really value, where you're just thinking, you know, just sort of looking out the window and thinking about what your next film might be, you know?
Yeah. How about this one? Airport customs agents almost disposed of your IMAX film while shooting The Odyssey.
That is true. Yes.
Why?
Painfully
How?
true.
No.
They opened up all the cans. It was when we were going to Scotland.
Scotland?
And yeah, I mean, I think film.
Is there a shampoo in here? You're trying to smuggle a bottle of water.
It was a massive amount of film cans, and they did not actually expose it. We were able to
Holy moly.
to rescue it. But
Were you
yeah.
sweating that one?
Oh yeah, big time.
You're like, I can't reshoot this, buddy.
No.
We were in a cave, yeah. All right, how about when Star Wars came out, you saw it 12 times at the movie theater.
Yeah, absolutely. The first Star Wars. I mean, that was the event. I mean, it's pre-home video as well. So if you wanted to see it again,
That's correct.
You know, there was no VHS machine or whatever. This is 1977. So I absolutely love that movie and still love it. And yeah,
old
12
were you
times.
then?
I was 7.
Yeah.
When it came out. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
and your parents were in the film, or who would you see it with?
I dragged my parents, made them take me.
Good for
it was
mom and
also-
dad. Look who you made, mom and dad. Come on, you gotta be proud of this guy.
There you go.
Look, he's Christopher Nolan. That's fun. What did you love about it? Did you love the directing? Did you love the score? What was it about Star Wars that you loved? The humor?
I really loved the otherworldly aspect, you know, that you could go to the movies and the screen would kind of open up and just take you someplace, and you'd be in this other world for a couple hours. And I think a lot of the films I've made, and definitely The Odyssey, is kind of an attempt to get back to that feeling of, like, you know, anything can happen through that screen.
Yeah, like where are we? You know, Tom Holland was on the show and we were talking. I go, when you get the call from Christopher Nolan, he goes, yeah. He goes, well, my agents didn't actually know what the movie was, so they said they thought it was a space movie or a vampire movie. And he goes, but either way, I said yes, I'll do it. It was neither. It was The Odyssey. How about this? Before you were making movies, you were making corporate training videos.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true.
For what? Like,
And different companies. Intel was one. I did. You know, you would do these little videos for what they needed in-house communications and stuff.
and was it like an $800 million budget on these training videos?
It was not. It was no, but it was actually a pretty good lesson. And you turn up in some exec's office who would have no patience, and you'd have to throw up a couple of lights, and so these people would have no patience with you, but they'd want to look great on camera. So, you know, you learn to light things pretty fast and move on, and, you know, get on with it.
How about this one? You'll watch Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, anytime you can catch it on TV.
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake. Come on. Will love that. You make movies with your partner, Emma Thomas, a producing partner and life partner.
Yeah.
But also your kids are on this film as well.
Yes, we
Working.
have 4 children, and we put them all to work on the film in different departments. So it was a family affair. It was pretty amazing.
I mean, obviously it's work, but I mean, do you get to just look at your kid and go, "It's pretty cool"?
Very quietly. I didn't want to blow their cover. You know.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be a cool dad. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was fun. It's fun when you go to work and you could see your kid there, and then order them around and make them do horrible things. So it was cool. And they like everybody else on the shoot. They earned their pay. I mean,
They
it
worked
was,
hard. Yeah, absolutely.
They worked hard. Everybody did.
For anyone not familiar with The Odyssey, can we set up what the film is about? I mean, it's the oldest.
Yes. I mean, the Odyssey is really the story of Odysseus being missing after the end of the Trojan War. And so the Trojan War has ended, and he has not made it home. And so the story is cutting between the events in Ithaca, where he's from, where they're wishing that he would come back. And then we get to find out what's happened on his amazing journey home.
Yeah, and he has to get back to Anne Hathaway, who's also fantastic.
Yeah,
Everyone's great. Everyone's so good. John Leguizamo, by the way, loved him as well. I loved everything. There's so many good bits in here. I want to show everyone a clip. Here's a peek at The Odyssey. Take a look.
We'll raise the sail, follow the southerly winds.
Yes, sir.
Agamemnon's rowing west on the known provisions route.
He's got more mouths to feed. We'll find places to land.
Are you sure it's a risk?
I've followed Agamemnon long enough. With a little luck and the right winds, we'll see some of the world, still be home before Agamemnon.
I was just saying, we got to see it on 70 millimeter. We got to see it, and we just all saw it with a bunch of comedy writers from our show, and everyone was just in awe, just in a different world. Loved every performance, loved the score, loved the lighting. I felt like I'd been through something. It was such a great experience. I can't thank you enough for all that you do for the industry, for the business, and thank you for making these great movies. Please make more and come back whenever you want. And thank you. Christopher Nolan, everybody, The Odyssey is in theaters and IMAX now. Everything you do is big and fun. Now you're in the #1 movie in the world, The Odyssey. Woo! Come on, yes! In the world. And your song, When I'm Home, is the end credits song. Now, come on.
Sick.
Travis, talk to me.
Come on, man.
Talk to me. You've had #1 albums, you had #1 songs before, but you've never had the #1 movie.
Nah. This is crazy.
What does it feel like to be in a movie?
This feels it feels way different. Man, my parents, even like my school counselor, my theater teacher from high school, they reached out to my mom. This is like another stratosphere, like greatness. Like the people that always like scolding you when you was in school or like trying to make you a great human. They're like, you finally did something good.
They're all rooting for you. Actually, you gave us a picture of your family and friends that went to go see The Odyssey.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Come on, that's cool.
It's all right. Yeah.
That's fantastic, but that's pretty cool right there. You've worked with Christopher Nolan before.
Yeah, I worked with him on Tenet. I did the song at the end credits of Tenet, so
Yeah.
it's cool.
So then what came first, the song for this movie or acting in this?
Surprisingly, the acting role, which is so random.
Yeah, how do you say it to you?
I was just, my phone went off and it just said Chris, and I'm thinking like, okay, I don't know what this is about. Maybe he wants to go to a show. Maybe...
You have him in your phone as Chris?
Well, no, not that.
You have his full name? Does it say Christopher Nolan? You have a nickname?
A nickname.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
I
comes
would
up.
tell you it, but...
No, I won't. Don't. So that comes up and you go, what's
yeah, I'm like,
this about?
okay, what's this about? So I pick up and he's like, would you be, interested in acting in a movie? And I'm like, I guess, what's the... But I didn't think it was like for him. I thought it might be for somebody else.
Oh, yeah, maybe he's producing something
or something, I don't know. He's like, well, I'm working on this movie. I haven't really told people about it, but it's coming out soon, and I want you to kind of be in it. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, wait. I make music,
yeah. You know who you call, right? Yeah.
And then he just gave me his whole thesis on why. I really enjoy his time. I'm really inspired by him. He's a real mentor of mine. Outside of this, and so I'm like, yo, whatever you're down with, I'm down. However it goes, I'm with it. So
You crushed it. You were great in the movie.
Amazing. I was actually nervous as F, but it worked out.
You're in scenes with everybody.
With everyone, I showed up. I thought this was gonna be one of those all right, just you, Trav, and maybe some extras. I didn't know that it was gonna be Anne Hathaway, Tom, and Robert Pattinson, a bunch of amazing people.
Watching you act.
Yeah, and I don't know what I'm doing.
You were great though.
But they were such amazing cast,
Supportive.
Yeah, Chris is an amazing director. Everybody made me feel amazing, comfortable. I was just glad to be there and just watch them.
Yeah.
Be in such a world of them, so I'm just glad to be.
How was it hard keeping it a secret?
No, but you know what? It was hard to get people to actually believe that I did this. I didn't want people to think I got just placed in this.
Yeah, no, I really did this.
Imagine people being around you. Everyone asked me when did you do this? Because
Yeah, you did it. You snuck it in there and you did it.
Facts.
You actually gave the cast and you collaborated with Nike and gave them special shoes.
Yes, I did.
And you brought one here for me to show.
Yeah,
Look at this.
Yeah.
Dude, this is why you're unbelievable.
Yeah.
Can you see how beautiful and fuzzy these are? But look at this. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. See?
It's legit.
Come on, bud.
All right. Okay then.
Come on, bud. I got it. Yeah, come on. I gotta say, the last time you were on our show, you gave me a pair of Attack with Cactus Jack sneakers, and you signed them for me.
Did you ever wear them?
I'm gonna tell you something. He actually did wear them.
What?
No, for real. So
Because I really hate people that like get things and just don't wear them or like buy a car and don't drive them.
No, that's what I said too. So no, Nate Bargatze asked me to open for him at the Prudential Center.
Oh, fire.
I hadn't done stand-up in 10 years. I'm like, I need some confidence.
And you
I'm
wore
like,
'em?
so I wore your sneakers,
up.
the signed ones, and Nate was like, you're gonna wear them? I'm like, yo, that's what Travis would have wanted.
Right.
He would want me to wear that. And I went up that night and had a great set. So I want to thank you very much for doing that. You gave me the confidence, buddy. Thank you very, very much.
I think we might got an extra pair for you, though. I know you wasn't there with us, but you're family of mine, and we made some for family friends, and I got some for you.
Come on, bud. That's what I'm talking about. That's the great. Thank you, bud. They're gorgeous. Let's talk about the song. So when did the song come? Now you're in the movie. Did you go, also, Chris, I'm also a pretty talented musician.
I was hoping he would ask me. I was happy enough to be in the movie, but I think he like finished doing like a couple cuts of the movie. He was like, "Yo, you want to come watch it?" And then we watched it, and he was like, "Yo, you think you got a vibe for this? Or like, if you're inspired by this?" I'm like, "Yes." So me and Ludwig, we went to the studio that night. and we
After the
worked on
movie?
it. Right after the movie, like literally, right after the movie, we sat in Conway. And we worked on it. And James Blake is one of my favorite artists. I've been inspired by him since I was
I love James Blake.
a kid. And, I love him. So to be a part of this with him, and Louis is an amazing producer. And
The video comes out next week.
yes, I actually directed the video, which I'm so proud of.
You did the other thing. Didn't you do a movie for the tour, for the last album?
Yeah. So I did a short film at Gaspar and Nicolas, a bunch of amazing directors. We shot in Iceland, we shot in Paris, Germany, Canoe in Africa. And it was basically about finding the utopias in different parts of the world, like just a good time, something that they find happiness.
So you got the bug and said, I'll do this. I will do my video.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So you were actually nice enough to bring us a first look at the video.
Yes, I had to
It's not out yet.
I had to show everybody here first.
It's out. Yeah, it's out next week. It's not even out yet. So here we go. Here's a peek of the music video from When I'm Home, from the Odyssey. Take a look.
Drown in my feet.
Raising a fleet,
Patrol in the sea.
ending a war. Life on the sand, dreaming of land.
Travis Scott, everyone. The Odyssey is now playing in theaters and IMAX. John, let's talk about The Odyssey. Let me tell you something. You were phenomenal in this movie. John Leguizamo. No, seriously. No, man, I'm serious. No, I'm serious. No, I can't even talk to you. I can't even talk to you.
Oh, shut up.
Honestly,
Stop.
I
No.
saved it. I didn't say it backstage because I wanted to save it for here. I loved you in this movie.
Oh, thank
This
you,
was
man. Thank you, my brother.
Insane what you did. What a performance. Insanity. I'm sensing awards buzz. I'm just saying, no, I'm not
Don't
gonna
jinx
say it
it,
out
don't
loud.
jinx it.
No, but look how much you aged in this movie, what you went through. Look at this.
Why are they laughing?
No, not aged. No, in the movie.
Actually, that's how I usually look. This is a transformation.
No.
It's a reverse thing.
But John, did you realize it was gonna be this intense when you did this film?
No, Chris Nolan was not forthcoming with the fact that he was gonna age me like 100 years.
Yeah.
He told me I was gonna be the most loyal character in Western literature, and I was having this beautiful expository dialogue that I would have to say. And then they told me I get the hair and makeup, and it's like 2 days of bleaching my hair, my eyebrows.
Oh, really?
4 hours to wrinkle me up, and I look like a testicle. And I don't know if you can say that. I'm sorry.
Testicles.
Testicles.
Testicles is in the Odyssey.
Testicles.
Testicles
Yes.
is the character name.
The most low-hanging of all the...
I said that character is nuts. But you.
Rewind.
Sorry, but let me just tell you something. You come on, you're young in the beginning of the film, and then obviously the Odyssey
Yeah,
happens.
you aged 20 years, yeah.
I can't even tell you how much I loved you so much. I go.
Oh, thank you, bud.
I'm gonna even compare you. I got Brando vibes. From
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Word?
man, I loved it. It was crazy. But then we had a bunch of the cast were on, and I was saying, praising you. I go,
Yeah.
he was unbelievable. They said, do you know that he couldn't really see out of.
No, I couldn't see, man. I mean, they got me these contacts made by an expert in California. The only person can do it, to study cataracts and painted over the contacts, so I couldn't see out of my eyes. I mean, it helped me with the work I was doing, but I also studied my high school friend Gina Velasquez, who's legally blind, and you know, borrowed a lot of her behavior for it to make it real. But the first day we're shooting it, we do this scene. You know, I had to be helicoptered up because it's 900 feet above sea level, and I couldn't see. Everybody else had to climb up. Sorry. And we do the scene. They clap, they go away, and they break for lunch, and I'm like, "Hello,
Guys,
hello, hi, somebody."
anyone help me?
Did you forget something? They forgot me. I
Yeah.
couldn't walk anywhere. Matt Damon came back, helped me go to the cafeteria. I had to be walked to the bath. I had to be walked everywhere.
Yeah, but it wasn't an experience.
It was an incredible experience. It's the highlight of my life, I gotta say.
Really?
Yes, this was the most incredible performance that I was able to give because of what Chris wrote for me. He saw something in me that normally people in casting don't see, like this gentle, kind soul that I think I kind of am.
You definitely are. Yeah, you definitely are. It blew me away. It was great. And did you? Obviously, you've seen the film.
Oh my God, it was incredible. I mean, I saw my wife who never cries at anything, and she squeezed the hell out of my hand, and she was weeping through the whole thing. And when my wife cries, then I start weeping. And I was like, oh, baby. And it was ugly crying. It was like, oh, my God. Oh, God, it's so... Because it's such a touching movie. It is really hits you hard because it's all about, it's a little bit, against war and what happens, the PTSD of it, and trying to get to family, to your son, to your wife, and betrayed by friends. I mean, it's heavy, but it's so fun. I've seen it 3 times. I want to see it 3 more times.
Oh, come on. Of course, you were well done. I can't even tell you what a great job. You know, you're one of my favorites.
Oh,
I want to
buddy.
show everyone a clip. Here's John Leguizamo in The Odyssey. Take a look at this.
No, too fast.
How can you know?
You don't need eyes to hear a hasty combination. Mentor, push him. Too fast.
Oh, come on. Who is that cat? Who is that? It's amazing. Who is that? John Leguizamo, everybody. The Odyssey. It's in theaters now. Congrats on The Odyssey. Oh, my gosh. Massive. I can't think of a bigger thing. And you got rave reviews for your performance. Plug your ears if you're going to get shy about this. But this says Elliot Page delivers a standout performance and is one of the best parts of The Odyssey. USA Today. Not a big deal. Elliot Page is the soul of Christopher Nolan's epic. Elliot Page steals the film with a haunting performance. And Elliot Page knocked it out of the park, says Variety. Come on. That's what you want. That's the reviews you want.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
When you first read the script, what was your reaction?
I mean, my first reaction was, honestly, it was similar to reading the script to Inception. Like, I really was just left breathless, like really blown away by something that was so complex, so massive, and with this tremendous engine and heart that just kept moving forward. And it just really blew me away.
And this is your second time working with Chris Nolan, so he must love you. There's something that he likes, yeah.
I felt so fortunate to be asked to come back and to be a part of something as epic and incredible as this was just such a gift.
What's his directing style like?
I mean, it's so impeccable. I love how focused his sets are. You can just only be present. And his direction will always just be so concise and just perfect.
Like what would he say to you? Like,
less anger, more disappointment. And you're like, oh, yes, exactly.
Yes, that's what I was looking for.
Exactly right.
No spoilers for anyone out there, but if you have, but you have a lot of physical scenes and physical stunts. There's one scene where you kind of come out of the ground like you're buried in the earth and you come back out. How did this scene get shot?
Well, I wasn't actually buried in the earth. That was incredible. But people really were. But this was our extraordinary stunt performers who were breathing through, straws under the sand. And
So wait, so they're having straws and they have
yes, and it was obviously very coordinated. Safety was key, of course. But
Yeah.
that was, no, I didn't actually physically have to.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart of you. Yeah. But did you do your other stunts? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, not to give something happen. I'm at the beginning of the movie to my character.
Yeah, it's hard to not spoil a 3,000-year-old book.
So, yeah.
It's like, yeah, but we don't want to do it. Yeah, I understand.
But so that was a practical stunt that I did, which was classic.
It was great.
Nolan in that way.
And moving. I was going to ask you because I know there's a dog in the movie named Argos. Very cute. Oh yeah, very cute dog. And I was wondering if you thought about having your dog be in the Odyssey, and why didn't you get?
I know. Well.
And who is the? Oh no. How cute. Are you joking me?
Yes.
Who is this?
This is Mo.
Oh, hi, Mo.
He is sensational. I'm obsessed.
Of course.
I love him so much.
So Chris Nolan couldn't get him for the Odyssey?
Well, I think it's more on me because he's just not, I don't think he's trained well enough. Like, he's not gonna just lay down still. He's gonna wanna, like, snuggle and be in the cinematographer's lap.
Oh, come on. See, that's what I'm talking about.
That's just not gonna work.
Not an actor. Not an actor.
Not on a Nolan set.
Not on a Nolan set. For anyone who hasn't seen the movie, can you set up what the Odyssey is about and who you play, or is it too tricky?
What the Odyssey is about?
Yeah, that might be tricky. But who you represent and you play?
I play a character named Sinon, who's an Ithacan soldier who's involved in the Trojan horse ruse. And there's more to it than that, but I'll refrain from speaking to that. But,
All right, perfect. I want to show everyone a clip. Here's Elliot Page and Matt Damon in The Odyssey. Take a look at this.
Why did you have to volunteer?
Don't you remember how I came here? I begged to take Antinous' place. He'd been called.
He offered money for your family if you take his place.
If the Trojans don't let me live, if I never make it home, take this back to my father, tell him everything I did. Odysseus, feel free to add some stuff.
Come on. Elliot Page, everybody. The Odyssey is in theaters and IMAX now.